G'day and welcome to Foord Off-Road. In this video, I'm going to be replacing a rear wheel bearing in my Toyota Hilux KUN26 2007 model, but this procedure is the same for almost every leaf sprung solid axle rear end dual cab like Rangers, Hilux, Navara, Triton, pretty much the same for all of them. So if you own one of those utes and you need to do wheel bearings, this is the video for you. This video is going to be the exact same whether you've got genuine parts or the cheapest crap off eBay. It's all the same process. First step, let's jack it up, get the wheels off, put on some jack stands and get into it. All that nice oil in there. Alright, first off we're going to take the drum off. Just put an M8 threaded bolt into these holes. Work it off. Lovely. Before I pull any of the brakes actually apart, what I'm going to do is put a clamp on the line so no fluid, because we're going to have the back of the wheel cylinder undone. So not no, but very minimal fluid is going to drip out onto the ground. On this side I'm replacing the bearing and the brakes. The other side I'm just replacing the brakes. So there's going to be a separate video on just brakes. This one is just the bearing. So I'm just going to pull this apart, and if you want to know how I did that, you can go onto my profile and check out the video that's on just the brakes. Because I want to focus this one more on the bearing. Right, now that that is out of the way, I'm going to pull the handbrake cable out of the back because we need to actually pull this entire axle out of the car. So, handbrake cable has two 10mm bolts holding it in. And then that'll just pull back through. It will be pretty tight because it catches on things. If you want to make it easier, you can pull that 12mm one out there, but righto, poke that somewhere out of the way. Now I'm going to take off the wheel cylinder, which would just be one 10mm flange nut and a 10mm bolt. Now flange nuts, especially brake line nuts, you do not want to round them off. So get one of these spanners that goes over the pipe and then undoes it. Does it without rounding, because if you round that, it's all over. We're going to take the ABS sensor out. You might notice I'm running the Wi-Fi ABS lines. Dog ate them. Now I replaced them at a quite expensive price, and she did it again, the stupid thing. Anyway, you don't have to take that out, it just gets it out of the way. Alright, now we're going to undo these four 14mm bolts. Going to undo all of those. It will be done up pretty tight. You're going to want a drain container when you pull this out as well, because chances are if the bearing's gone, the seal's gone, and it's going to be diff oil come out. I'd rather have a drain container than a puddle of my concrete. Rightio, now that they're all undone, should be able to pull this forwards. Sometimes they are very tight. A trick to get this out, bit of a trick to pull this off, is to get the brake drum, put it on backwards, some wheel nuts on there, and you can use it like a slide hammer, like that. Now there's going to be all that comes out to make sure the container's in the right spot. Just going to pull it out, stand it up. I'm going to be replacing the rear diff oil since it's been all messed up with bearing parts. Whoa, what was that in there? Not much left of that thing. Would you believe that I had to drive this an hour and a half home after that happened at 100 k's an hour? The brakes, when I got home, it was smoking real bad. It smelled disgusting, burning diff oil. Anyway, let's replace that. Now it is possible to replace those just with a hammer and a chisel, but it's a bit touch and go, and it's not really something that I would suggest having a go at if you don't know how to do it. So, I'm gonna head down to the workshop, use the press to take that in and out, and then come back and put it all together. If you don't have a workshop, take it to local mechanics, take it to a local engineering joint, anyone with a press, and chances are they've done it 100 times before. It'll take them half an hour to do, and they'll probably only charge you like 50 bucks or something. Let's go down and do that. I'll show you how to put it back together, and then we'll do the brakes.
Morning!
Okay, so this is the special tool. You're supposed to slip it over, tighten those down, and then you press on this end, put that end in the press, and press it out by the top. It doesn't fit with an ABS ring. If you've got any other car besides a Hilux with ABS, that'll work. Apparently it won't when you've got ABS, so what I'm going to do is chop that collet off, and you should be able to just pull the ABS ring off and pull it, and then put that in on properly how it's supposed to be to press the bearing out. Just going to do that. This is not how you do it, but this is how I have to do it. Don't do that unless you have an ABS one, then you're allowed to do that. Come in on YouTube, Bruce. Bruce, come in. So once you've got the ABS ring off, there's a circlip in there, and then we'll put that tool on. Come over this thing, it's an exhaust bender, but it works. You get a new one of those in the a new inner axle seal, 2 new collets. The only thing you don't get is an ABS ring. If you're not confident getting that off, you can just cut it off and go and buy a new ABS ring. I didn't actually realise that there was a difference between ABS and non-ABS until I went to put that tool on there before it didn't fit. Clean this up, get all the little metal fragments out of it. Alright, back at home now. I got the bearing put together. GoPro battery went flat, just as I started putting it back together, so got nothing to that. But once you get the collets and everything off, the bearing basically just falls out of this. It's only held in by the pressure of the collet on the back of it. So you just put the seal in the front, bearing with the fatter edge face down, collet, circlip, ABS ring, another collet, press it all back together. Now before we put it back in the diff, I'm going to change that inner axle seal as well as the O-ring around here, which I've already pulled off. Get that inner axle seal. Got this tool with a little hook on the end, and just hook it out like that. Rightio, that's how that goes in. And the seal will already have some grease on it, just spread a bit of it around. Make sure the shaft is clean. And poke it back in there. It might be hard to get it back into the spline on the diff, but it will go in. Wiggle it around a bit. Okay, so the brakes are bled and they're basic adjusted. Now it's got to put the wheels on to adjust them properly. I've had these wheels sitting here for a little while now. 33s on 0 offset rims. I just wanted to see what they'd look like on the car, so see if they work, see if I can still turn on the front, because I have a 265 on now and these are a 285. While I got them off, I might as well chuck them on and see how it goes. Anyway, put them on and adjust the brakes properly. Step. Okay, so the last step to the rear wheel bearing is going to be to replace the diff oil. So 24mm nuts, they will be done up pretty tight. Takes 2.9 litres of 80W90. Takes ages to 5 minutes later. Righto, that's how to replace rear wheel bearing in a Toyota Hilux. Same thing for most solid axle cars. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I did miss a little bit, like I said, battery went flat, but you get the idea. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.